All right, hello everyone. It is Monday, August 18th, 2025. Welcome to another episode of the He Says, She Says Sports Talk podcast. We are your hosts. I am Big Red along with Tony. What's good, Tony? How are you?
I'm good. What's up?
Nothing much is up with me, just laying low, but a lot of news in the NFL this week with the preseason, week three being done. Um, we won't go over everything, all the games this week, but we'll just touch on a couple of hot takes from the week three of the preseason. How did you like Jackson Dart in his second game of looking good?
Yeah, Dart looks impressive and he looks I would say ahead of schedule. I think the whole situation that they have, and I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later when you have me put on that GM hat, but the whole
Yeah.
situation with their quarterback room, I think there were certain people in place in case Dart wasn't on schedule. He's ahead of
Mhm.
schedule. He looked really impressive. I do still think that Russell Wilson will be named the starter to kick off the season, but I see Dart starting at some point during this coming season. And I've said it before, but that November 2nd game, that's the window.
Yeah. No, you did mention that for sure. I mean, I agree with you. I think he looked impressive. He's got Giants fans, kind of slobbering at the mouth, you will say, salivating over this kid, but he looks good for sure.
I mean, he was playing against pieces of the Bills' first team defense at different times when he was out there.
Yeah,
That's an impressive defense to be holding your own against.
no, definitely for sure. It's definitely he like I said, he looks good. Like I said, they're doing the right thing. They kind of got they're kind of like in cruise control, because they it's not like they got to rush him in there. They got guys there that can, so. Like you said, we'll touch on a little bit of that more later. I wanted to talk to you about a couple signings that had happened this past week. The Browns signed rookie receiver Isaiah Bond to a 3-year, 3 million guaranteed deal, all 3 million guaranteed. Now, mind you, he didn't get drafted because he was dealing with a sexual assault lawsuit or whatever, but it got dropped. So, the Browns picked him up, signed him full guaranteed. Do you think that was too much money to just go ahead and give to a guy? I mean, a lot of people had him as like a second round, maybe third round talent. But do you think 3 million guaranteed was too much for a 3-year deal?
I mean, are we surprised it's the Browns? They notoriously give that kind of money away,
Yeah, yeah,
especially to guys like that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, look, he was a top talent in college. He was projected to go very high. He was dealing with his personal issues, and
Hmm.
now he's not. So he's available. The Browns decided to go for it. Good on them. If he turns out to be a superstar, he very well could.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked him in college. He was with Alabama at first, then he transferred to Texas. He kind of didn't play as well at Texas due to injuries and things like that, but he was slated to come out, like you said, to be a top draft pick. I like the guy. He just needs to put a little bit more weight on. Uh, in my opinion, just off type off of, just based off how he plays, he plays a lot aggressive, so he's gonna take those kind of hits and stuff like that. But he's a good receiver. Hopefully the Browns can do something with him in that mess they got going on. But no, I wish him the best though. I'm glad the lawsuit got dropped on him for sure. You hate to see that kind of stuff, but yeah, no, definitely shout out to him on this contract, 3 million guaranteed. Let's see what he does. The Eagles signed former Texans receiver. The Texans actually traded him to the Eagles, John Mechie III, which in my opinion, I think Devontae Smith had something to do with that because they were teammates in college. But uh, I think it was, the grass just keeps getting greener over there for those guys. They're just adding more depth to the receiver room, which we kind of needed for sure. Behind AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. We got Jahad Dotson, but we still kind of needed more depth. And a guy like Mechie, who's a shifty route runner, crafty guy, it was a good pickup in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely his highlight is he is a very shifty receiver. The Eagles definitely need depth in the wide receiver room. I'm pretty much just echoing what you're saying here. But I do agree it's a good pickup for them.
No, definitely it was. Good pickup for them, definitely. What did you think about Cam Ward and his game for the Titans?
The least talked about number one pick
The
in
least talked
NFL
about number one
history.
pick. That's why I brought him up because he's the least talked about guy. No one's talking about him. He kind of has some struggles, but you expect that from a
Yeah,
first year player. So
he
I'm not. It's not really a big deal to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but some people are making a big deal about it. But
he looked shaky, right? I mean, he's an incoming rookie. He's expected to lead a team that has had its fair share of struggles over the last few
mhm.
seasons. And you know, like I said, I didn't think he was going to come in and be a game changer for this Titans team right away. Do I think he'll settle into being, okay?
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be a huge bust, but I don't think he's an NFL starter right now either. And I've said that. I said that all leading
yeah,
up to the
you have.
draft. Um, you know, the holes in his game were definitely exposed in that preseason game. And I do think they'll continue to be exposed unless he starts getting coached out of some of them.
Okay, I feel you. I mean, like I said, I mean, he needs more weapons for sure, in my opinion. There, I heard him say in some comment to the media that he had the best receiving group in the league. I don't know if he's a little delusional or what, but to me, he needs more pieces for sure.
I think he's trying to be optimistic and be a
I
good
mean,
teammate
obviously, that's he's
and
saying a
believe
politically
in his
politically
guys.
correct
I
thing.
get it. I get where he's trying to come from.
Yeah, definitely, he's being politically correct. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but he's definitely going to need some more pieces for sure. Let's talk about the game tonight for the preseason. Your Bengals against the Washington Commanders. It's in Washington tonight. I think 8:30 kickoff.
Hmm.
Um, what's something you kind of looking for when you're watching the game tonight, as far as what you're going to look for, as far as the Bengals, as far as depth, maybe backup, or you're going to be looking at the defense, obviously, Shamar Stewart. What's some of the things you're going to be possibly looking forward to the game tonight?
Yeah, definitely paying attention to our rookies, Shamar Stewart, even Demetrius Knight. I like to pay attention there as well. But Shamar
Hmm.
Stewart got into a bit of a scuffle this week
Yes,
at practice. He uh
yeah,
he made it all the way to the quarterback.
he did.
Got all the way to Joe Burrow, and I think he said something like he was trying to catch himself from falling onto him, but he still kind of fell. Um,
Yeah,
ended up taking out QB1
yeah. End up
little
hitting
bit.
Joey B. Can't
Seems
do
like
that.
they resolved that. But the O line seemed to step up and get into a bit of a scuffle with Shamar Stewart defending their
Yeah.
their guy. Um,
There was a
that's the
scuffle
one
for
rule.
sure.
I mean, you don't touch the quarterback, right? And it seemed to be an accident. I kind of like that edge from him, to be totally
Yeah,
honest. I want to see it in a game. Um,
yeah,
and I don't want him hurting the merchandise anymore either. So yeah. I mean, I'll be paying extra special attention to what he does tonight. I'd love to see him get to the quarterback a couple times.
hmm
But the defense as a whole, absolutely, everybody's paying attention to the defense, not just Bengals fans. And offensively, we're looking at some of the holes in the offensive line. I'm going to be looking at guys like Cody Ford to see where he's at. Um,
Y'all got Seth McLaurin back too, the guy from Ohio State, the Remington Award winner a couple years ago. I
mhm.
heard he's been getting healthy too, and looking good on that O line for you guys. And he can play center or guard.
Yeah,
So
so I mean, just paying attention mostly to our O line and the defense. Those are the biggest spots that I think I'm looking to see and notice certain things from.
yeah, no, definitely. Same. I'm gonna check out the game tonight too. That's definitely what I'll be looking at. I'm gonna be looking at Shamar Stewart for real. I want to see him play. And I like your guys' linebacker a lot, the rookie Barrett Carter out of Clemson.
Hmm.
He's a beast. He's definitely a future starter for you guys. So I'm look those are the couple things I'm looking forward to seeing out of tonight. Um, More news coming from your Bengals, though. The whole Trey Hendrickson saga continues. They still continue to not get a deal done. Trey Henderson happened to mention that if they don't get a deal done, he will sit out. So, uh, what's your opinion on that and your thoughts on that still going on, and the fact that he said he would sit out if they don't get a deal done?
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
they put him on a trading block as well too.
he
I
is
forgot to put that in there.
they did put him back on the trade block. They are
Yeah.
entertaining offers again. Although they've
Mm.
turned down offers earlier in the offseason for like second round picks and things like that. So I don't know what it would take right now for them to give him away. I guess
Yeah.
getting closer and closer to the season. And
Hmm.
if he sits, then, the Bengals lose out on him and anything they could have gotten out of a trade.
Yeah.
I think Trey Hendrickson is a leader on the defense. I don't see how you let the NFL sack leader go. But if you can't come to
Hmm.
some sort of conclusion, if he is looking for a longer term deal than the Bengals are willing to give, then they need to cut their losses and get something out of it. So
Yeah. I agree. I
I
couldn't agree
I don't
more.
see why we can't. I know he's 30. I don't know why we can't give Trey a longer term deal. We have the cap space. The cap space is not the problem here. To everybody out there that's like, oh, they just don't want to pay him. They just don't want to pay him. Cap space is not the issue. It's not. The issue is the length of the deal, the guaranteed money, all the other things.
Hmm.
Trey
Yeah.
Hendrickson, like we all know, is 30. He's looking for his future. He's looking about where he's going to settle down, where he's going to have his family and um what
And
he's
he
going
has mentioned Cincinnati as his home,
and
so
I think he wants it to be Cincinnati. I don't think he's looking for the largest, deal. I
no.
don't think he's looking for Max Crosby numbers, even honestly, when he
Mm-mm.
could be. I think he's looking for length of contract and guaranteed money that is just not being offered. And if the Bengals aren't going to offer it, they need to entertain a trade that will give that to him and then that the Bengals get something out of. I'm sick of kind of being in the limbo. I'm sick of being at an impasse. The defense is going to need something. They're going to need to know if
Yeah.
they have him or not because that changes the defensive plan, I think, So
Hmm.
it's time to do something. We're getting really close to the season.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like you said, I couldn't agree with you more with everything you said. I mean, you hit everything on the head as far as everything is concerned. He wants to be there. He wants to be a bingo, but he wants, like you said, he's looking towards his future. He's 30. He wants a deal done. He felt like he's performed to the level he needed to, which in my opinion, he has as well. So they just need to get a deal done or get something for him, you know or deal him and trade him for sure, definitely in my opinion. But looking forward to the game tonight for sure. Again, it's the Bengals versus the Commanders, Monday Night Football out there in DC. So we'll be looking forward to that tonight. Another thing in the NFL news I wanted to touch on was I don't know if you heard about the Browns played this past weekend. Dylan Gabriel started. He didn't look bad. Did throw a pick six, but he had some comments um, that he said was towards the media, but social media kind of went on a rave about it and thought it was towards Shador. The comments were there's entertainers and there's competitors, and people kind of tend to take it as a shot at Shador, but he said it was a shot at the media. Regardless of whether it was a shot at the media or Shador, do you think it was smart for him to say those comments?
Smart. I don't know. I do think number one, that is a very, very short version of the answer that he gave. I urge you to listen to the whole thing. It's very clear he's not talking about Shador. It's very clear he's not talking
Yeah.
about the quarterback situation.
Uh-huh.
I think he's smarter than that. I do think
Yeah.
he's probably fed up with the media narrative. It's not something that he necessarily had to deal with. It's something that Shador is used to. And he's
Hmm.
not being, given the appropriate tools to know exactly what he wants to say or not taking the direction of what to say.
Yeah.
May have taken a shot at the media. And honestly, valid because the narrative going on in Cleveland is is being taken so far out of context, and we've lost the plot there a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, Regardless, none of it matters because Joe Flacco is named the starting quarterback. The rest of the depth chart will come, and Cleveland is going to do what Cleveland does, which means we have no idea, right?
Yeah. No, we're gonna touch on that a little later
So
too.
it means we have no idea. I don't think that Dylan Gabriel um was being stupid in his comments. I don't know that it was the smartest comment in the world to make.
Yeah.
I think he's probably just fed up. It was absolutely a shot at the media, not a shot at Shador.
100%.
Listen to the
Yeah.
whole thing. That is a teeny, teeny, teeny sliver of what he said. Um, and he was basically saying, like, I'm tired of all the media and all the
Yeah.
narratives and all of the entertainment stuff. Like, I'm here to play football. And, that's
Hmm.
what he's going to do. So let's not, there's enough going on in Cleveland. Like, we don't need to
Well,
add.
you know how social media gets, man. They
Right,
always
but like we don't need to add fake drama to Cleveland. There's already drama there.
no, for sure. I don't think it was anything towards Shador either. I do think it was a shot at the media. A little bit of frustration with him. Like you said, being in the media a lot more. He's not used to that as much as Shador.
I mean,
Definitely.
he's playing, and the questions are about the other quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks, yeah, no, for sure, I get it. No, no, but like I said, that's how the media is. They're going to dig and poke.
Mhm.
So he took his shot at the media. Only thing is now that he's going to become enemy number one when it comes to the media. Now that he took a shot at them, so
So is Shador, and so is like the whole Cleveland.
yeah, obviously. But think about it though. If Shador made that comment, even if it was towards the media, it would be a lot bigger than what it would be with him saying it. Would
Mhm.
it not? You got to think about it. If Shador said them comments, they would be going crazy. They'd be pulling their hair right now. you
Yeah.
know. But like I said, I don't. Like I said, it is what it is. I don't mind him doing it, taking a shot at the media. Just expect the media always to do what they do and take their shots back. Again, the depth charts came out, but before we do get onto the depth charts coming out, we obviously know Joe Flacco's a starter. I'm gonna need you to put your GM hat on
Yeah.
because I have some questions for you. So basically, you're going to be the GM of these teams and situations, and you just let me know what would be the best for your team. And the first team is the Saints, the New Orleans Saints. And we obviously know they have a QB battle going on, Tyler Shutt and Spencer Rattler. Um, what is GM Tony doing in a situation with the Saints? Well, Coach Tony, I should
This
say.
is gonna answer a secondary question if you ask me about the Giants, but if I'm the Saints, I'm going after Jameis Winston. He's going
Yeah.
to be starting somewhere. He's not going to start with that Giants quarterback room. The Giants, if I'm the Giants coach GM, I'm going from Russell Wilson to Jackson Dart. Dart is
Yeah.
ready for that. So I'm starting the season with Russ, and once the situation starts to present itself, once we start losing games or whatever, once I feel like it's time and he's ready, Russ on that
Uh-huh.
1 year deal. So really, he's there to prep Dart. So at a certain point during the season, in a certain window, whether that be November 2nd, whether that be December, Dart is going to play, which means there's no chance that Jameis is playing. He was signed to that 2 year deal for the in
Hmm.
case Dart isn't ready. But Jameis Winston is good enough to be a starter in the NFL. He is. He is.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get. It's the Jameis Winston experience, but he's certainly better than what the Saints have going on right now in their quarterback room.
Okay, so you're basically saying I
And New
got you. So you're
Orleans
saying,
loves him. New Orleans loves Jameis.
yeah, he was in New Orleans before too. Yeah. So I
if
mean,
I'm if I'm the Saints, I'm entertaining the Giants and
you're
seeing
making a
if I
trade
can make
for
some kind of trade.
okay. All right, because you don't believe okay, obviously you
I
don't
don't
want
think Rattler
Spencer
or
or
Shuck are
Tyler.
ready. So I'm trying to pick up Jameis's 2 year deal from the Giants,
Yeah.
see what my future looks like with
And
Rattler.
maybe go for a draft next year, quarterback. Okay. All right. Okay. That's good. All right. For sure. I like that. So obviously Okay, you already basically explained your Giants situation too with Jackson Dart. You're going to let Russell play, till about what, week 6?
It depends on how it goes, right?
If
That
the
is a
Giants are
really,
struggling.
really tough slate of 6 games. That
Hmm.
first 6 games, if the Giants win 3 of those, right? 3 out of those 6, I'm keeping Russ.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing what that the season looks like with Russ.
Hmm.
If I only win 2 or less of those games, I'm putting Dart in on November 2nd.
Okay. Okay. No, that makes sense for sure. I like that too. Okay, so let's go to the Indianapolis Colts. And you're the GM and you have or the coach, or you have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Not Daniel, yeah, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Um, who is going to be your starter going into week 1?
Can I opt out of being their GM? I don't want to be their GM.
Now you got to.
Uh, to be totally honest, I have no idea. If Anthony Richardson is still hurt, it makes my decision a lot easier.
Hmm.
Um, I think Anthony Richardson has been what they're trying to make the guy.
Yeah.
I think you go for it one more time and see how it goes one more time, knowing that Daniel Jones is waiting in the wings to take over if
All right.
necessary.
So
He's
you wouldn't want Daniel Jones to start out, and then if he struggles, throw Richardson in there,
no
and maybe
other way
Maybe,
around. As long as Richardson is ready to go, the Colts have
Richardson's.
invested so much in him at this point that I'm starting him just to see. And it's his last chance. And then at a certain point in the season, if it's not working out, that's when you put in Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Because Daniel Jones is will be a very good NFL backup somewhere. He wasn't good enough to be a starter with the Giants. We saw that. I think
Hmm.
he can be a really great backup because you know exactly what you're going to get. It's very vanilla, but it's effective enough. Uh,
Yeah.
and I would start Richardson just because if I'm the Colts, I've invested so much in him at this point. But
I
I
feel
don't
you.
know what's going on behind the scenes. If behind the scenes he's becoming a problem, I'm going, listen, I'm about to humble you. I'm starting Daniel Jones, right? So it
Hmm.
really depends on what's happening behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But as far as the information that we know, I've invested a lot in Richardson. I'm gonna see it through.
Okay. Okay. All right. For sure. Yeah, like you said, that cult situation is a mess. I wouldn't want to be the GM of that
Oh,
either, to be quite honest.
yeah.
But last one though, obviously, this is one you wouldn't want to be a GM of either. But the Cleveland Browns obviously have named Joe Flacco as their starter. And they came out with the rest of the depth chart too. But how would your depth chart go? And would you have had Joe Flacco as a starter? We know he's a starter, but would you have had him as a starter starting the
Yeah,
season?
I would have him as the starter. There's no other reason for him to be there. You're not signing Joe Flacco unless he's starting the season for you. It just doesn't make sense. He's your veteran guy. Um, my depth chart though would go Flacco, Shador.
Okay, not Flacco, Kenny Pickett,
No,
because
nope.
that's what they have it. They have it. They
Flacco,
have Shador
Shador,
at 4.
Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel. That's where I'd have it. Just based
Okay.
on Kenny Pickett has proven enough to not be ranked last on the depth chart, but
Yeah,
I would have Shador higher because the second that the season starts to tilt, and it will because they're the Browns, you have Flacco every day working with Shador, and you just give the kid his chance. And we talked about it last week, but you just give the guy
yeah.
his chance. Cleveland wants it. Cleveland wants a star. They want somebody to root for. Shador gives you all of that and
Hmm.
talented enough to give you a chance to go win games. So I think you just whatever pride issue is going on, swallow it and just give the kid a chance. Let him be the backup to Flacco. That's exactly how I would do it.
Yeah.
Once you lose a couple games, then you put him in and you let him play the rest of the season. You just and you see what you have.
No, for sure. like I said, I agree with that depth chart too that you came up with Shador 2, Pickett 3, Dylan 4. That's exactly how I would do it too. Obviously, I wouldn't go with Flacco the whole season. At some point in time, you're going to have to throw him in there and see what y'all got for y'all's future. You got too many good quarterbacks coming out in the draft next year. So why are you sitting around wasting time to try to see who these guys are? Let them get in there and get their feet dirty, get some experience. So yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more on that. All right, well, that is all the GM and we have for you today on Tony's Take. So I think you did a good job. I didn't disagree with anything you said as far as all the teams. So,
I'm sure there'll be people that disagree with me.
oh yeah, there will
That's
be.
that's why that's why we love it.
Yeah, that's why we love it for sure. Yeah, there are definitely going to be people that disagree for sure. But last thing on with the NFL, the 49ers are rumored to be possibly facing a fine due to wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, who is currently on the pup list. Players unable to perform. He was out there running routes during their preseason game and catching passes from a quarterback. Uh, what is your take on that? And I'm not sure how much a fine is, but I've never even heard nothing like this before, like a player being injured and a team possibly getting fined for him out there running routes.
Yeah. Again, it's not really a take. You've asked a couple times, you've asked me for a take on something that's just the rules, and my
Hmm.
answer is always going to be the rules are the rules. There is no take. If he was running routes and the rule says that you're not allowed to run routes when you're on the pup list, they face the fine. That's the consequences of their actions.
What if they're
49ers are
what if they're
notorious.
just trying to work their way back into getting healthy?
If it's a rule, it's a rule. I don't really care. I don't. I
I
don't.
don't like that rule. I don't
Okay, I
like it.
could not like the rule. That's a different story, but it is
No,
the
for
rule.
sure. It
So,
is the rule. I
and
mean,
the
me
49ers
personally,
are
I just don't like it because
notorious
it's
for
like
not knowing the rules.
he,
See
you
Super
know,
Bowl
well, that's
overtime.
the team's fault, obviously, for allowing him to go out there and do that, not knowing the rules. Obviously, I don't expect him to know that rule, but the
No, it
team.
shouldn't be his fine to pay, though. It should be the team.
No, yeah, it's the team's fine. It's not his, it's the team's. But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't expect him to know that rule to not do that. I would expect somebody from the team to stop that before it would happen.
Somebody should have stopped it, though. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta know the rules.
Hmm.
You got guys
It's a
out
crazy rule to me though, because it's like, damn, all he's trying to do is just get some work in. You know, as a
there.
player, I
Yeah,
can
but
see that. But I know the
as
rules are the rules,
management,
but
I'm thinking to myself,
gotta bend them a little
he's
bit.
on the pup. Like, is he allowed to be out there? Let me check the rules.
Yeah.
Because he's on pup.
I
He should,
mean, it's kind of an airheaded thing by the Niners, if you ask me, because it's just like,
again, notorious for not knowing the rules.
yeah, no, for sure. It's a
Super
crazy
Bowl
run.
overtime against Chiefs. Please. Notorious.
Shots.
Somebody needs to check the rule book on that team. It happens to them way too often.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does for sure. But it's I get it from his standpoint. He's just trying to get some work in, man, and get back to hurry and get back on the field. So but no, yeah, who knows what the fine will be if a fine, but we'll see for sure. Before we get out of here, it's a couple other things I want to touch on. We'll start with college football and the Kansas Jayhawks. They were donated $300 million from a guy named John Booth uh, for their program. How do you feel about that? What's your take on that? Do you feel like that's going to boost their well, they already have a great basketball program, but as far as football program, what do you think that'll do for their football program?
Money brings resources, money brings recruiting, money does a lot of things, especially in the NIL era. So there's an absolute possibility that it boosts their program. It's what they do with that money and how they use it
Yeah,
that
100%.
time will tell, but it
Yeah,
absolutely can. I
yeah, no.
That's
I
a big
mean,
donation, and that's a lot of resources that you can institute in recruiting, in facilities, in NIL, in things that you can draw people in with. So
hmm
time will
you
see how
touched
they
it
use
right
it.
on the head. Players, you can, like I said, nowadays with the whole buying players, they're definitely in the next few years, you're going to see Kansas getting some players they normally don't get. I can guarantee you. It's kind of like right now with Texas Tech, because Texas Tech is kind of on that trail. I don't. They got a lot of oil money down there in Lubbock, so they're getting a lot of guys. They already got the number one player out of the 2027 class to commit to Texas Tech. And he's guaranteed like 9 million in NIL or something like that. So, in my opinion, it's definitely going to happen. It should. They also should redo the stadium, in my opinion. There, uh, or some add-on or something, because that way they can kind of. It'll be a better atmosphere for players to want to come there too. So, but no, the John Booth guy. He's made his fortune. He's a co-founder, leading Division Fund Advisors (DFA), a successful investment firm. He's from Lawrence, Kansas, where the Jayhawks are located. 78 years old, obviously a billionaire. So he can drop 300 M's on something. Hey, more power to him.
Yeah, it's just another donation. I mean, people do it all the time. This is just a massive one.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, I I think it's going to help them tremendously, though, for sure. It's definitely a massive one. It's probably the biggest one I've ever seen, for real, or heard of. Maybe not, but it's definitely huge for sure. But um, I'm not sure if you heard about the results of the Michigan cheating investigation scandal. Um, but apparently they didn't lose any bowl bans. They didn't lose no wins off their season. They just were fined. They lost money off scholarships for the next few years. And
No postseason bans, nothing
yeah,
like that.
no postseason bans. How do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, punishments to me, I feel like should money is money. And yes, in the NIL era, as I just said, it means something, right? So losing out on that scholarship money, that recruiting money, it can hurt you a little bit in your future.
Hmm.
But if you really want to show it to a team, a postseason ban um is is,
Something.
is something to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, money is money. It can be made back in donations. If you like we just saw with Kansas, right? You can make that money back somehow.
Hmm.
Um, and a 1 game suspension for the current head coach. Also, like
Yeah.
you're only losing your head coach for 1 game, no postseason ban. I don't think they're facing enough future consequence.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it too.
Recruiting a
I,
little bit, but like,
I just don't like it. I'm about to go on a little rant. I ain't gonna lie. I'm
mhm.
gonna tell you why I don't like this. Obviously, I don't like Michigan, me being an Ohio State fan. Um, but time and time again, even with the USC scandal with the Reggie Bush, what did they do? They took that man's Heisman. They took away victories. They took away national championship. Even though we all know who still won it, it's not gonna change nothing. But they still vacated wins, right? They done this time and time again. Same thing with Ohio State, with them players selling their stuff to tattoo artists. The same thing happened, and to now it's like the Big Ten commissioner is trying to protect Michigan because of this whole Big Ten SEC vendetta. He doesn't want Michigan to fall back down in the hole because that's bad for the Big Ten. And to me, that's the reason why I feel like Michigan is only getting a slap on the wrist and not getting a postseason ban, no wins vacated, nothing from that season. I mean, if there's proof that this guy was on the sidelines of opposing teams, stealing signs and sending them through cell phone records to the head coach that's there now, Sharon Moore. And apparently, and there's proof that he threw the phones in the river or lake. Apparently, got rid of the phones or whatever, disposed of phones. So, I mean, there's too much proof in the pudding for them to just get a slap on the wrist. But in my opinion, it's because the Big Ten commissioner is in battle with the SEC and he needs all his guns loaded full. And with Michigan getting a postseason ban or uh, more serious punishment, then that would crush their university. That would crush their football team for a little while, at least till they get through sanctions and get their coach, get a new coach in there. But
Yeah,
other
but I
than
think you could have vacated the wins. I mean, I don't think that would have hurt their future. So anytime that it was
yeah,
proven that there was a game that he was at that he sent, signs over, anytime any one of those teams was played, that should be a win that's vacated, and that doesn't
hmm
hurt their future. So, uh, yes, you have a great rant there, but explain that.
no, for sure. I mean, that I don't understand that either. I mean, they should have definitely, in my opinion, they should have vacated that whole season from Michigan, But again, that doesn't affect the players at all. That doesn't they just have to take all their banners down and all their wins out of their records. That's it. But for them to not even do that is just like beyond crazy. It's just again, it's the Big Ten protecting their pride and joys, their top teams, their breadwinners, but that again, like I said, they didn't do that 10, 15 years ago with Ohio State, but now is at a different era where they're trying to protect everything, it just makes it more reasonable for them to do so. So, but anyway, like I said, they basically got nothing done. Some fines, some money, that's not really going to affect anything
Yeah.
in the long run. But no, lastly but not least, let's touch on WNBA. The Aces are hot. They won six in a row. Um, they're getting hot at the right time, in my opinion, going into the end of the season. So, what's some of your takes on this week as far as the WNBA?
Yeah, I mean, getting hot at the right time is important, right? Being healthy at the right time, coming together. Um, there were notable changes to this Aces team. You lost Coach Nat because she's now coaching the Valkyries. That was obviously a big change for them. You lost Kelsey
Hmm.
Plum, who was a veteran leader on that team. Obviously, another big change for them. You're incorporating a player like Jewel Lloyd into your offense. Your Chelsea Gray had been, hurt the prior season. So reincorporating all of these people, I think it had a bigger effect on the Aces than anybody thought that it would.
Yeah.
Aces team that won back-to-back championships not that long ago. It's a player in Asia Wilson who has won 3 MVPs in the last 5 years. It's just,
Hmm.
I think people fell asleep on this Aces team a little bit, but it's a team that can make a run. It was
Yeah.
always going to be a good team. I talked about it when we talked about the trade, and I said that Jewel Lloyd is a positive addition to that team. That it was a win-win-win in that three-way trade. I
Hmm.
still think that. It just took longer than expected.
Yeah.
And getting hot at the right time is important. So, especially with injuries right now to the Lynx, to the Liberty, is the time to step up and pack on some wins heading into the end of the season.
No, definitely, definitely. And that 6 game streak, Asia had that 30-20 game too. So they've been balling for sure. Um, on the 2K26 game was released, and the top 10 WNBA player ratings have came out. I'll give you 1 through 10, and you just let me know if there's anybody missing or anything like that. Number one, Nafisa Collier. She is a 98 overall. Two, Asia Wilson, 97. Brianna Stewart is 397 overall. Caitlin Clark is 4. Um, at 96, um, A. Thomas from the Mercury, 95. And Inescu, she's a 93. And Bumake, 92. What is her name? Sabali? Am I saying it right?
Tattoo Stabile.
Yeah, Sabali is a 92 at 8. And then Jay Jones is a 92 at 9. And Angel Reese is 10 with 90. So what do you think of that list? And I mean, this seems pretty accurate. I thought somebody for sure would be a 99 on there though.
Yeah, it is pretty accurate. The only thing that you might argue is Angel Reese really top 10? I don't necessarily see her as top 10. I see her as top 15. She's a great rebounder, but I don't think she's
Yeah.
contributed it quite enough.
Hmm.
I would have loved to have like I would have put like Kelsey Plum or Brittany Griner, even like Aaliyah Boston, somebody else
Yeah.
in that 10 spot.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that could have gone in that 10 spot. Um, but it's a pretty accurate list. It's a pretty accurate list.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they just I'm glad they even did the whole WNBA on the 2K thing because now you get to play with the ladies and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to check it out. I haven't done it yet. I'm not sure what year they started doing it. I think it
Yeah.
was a couple years ago, but I'm definitely going to when it drops
I
this
will
year.
say I think the top five, even the top six, is spot on. I would not change
Not.
the top six at all. I might rearrange the order of the rest of the top 10, but that top six, Fee, Asia, Stewie, Caitlin Clark, AT, Sabrina, I would not change
Hmm.
that list. And I say time and time again, Sabrina Ionescu is my favorite WNBA player right now. She is. She's been my favorite. She's been my favorite
Yeah.
since Oregon days. There's videos out there of me talking about Sabrina when nobody knew who she was, when
Hmm.
she was the first. There's videos out there. Worry.
She said, "Go do your research."
Go do your research. It's on my website. Like it's not hard to find. I talked about that girl left, right, and center when she was at
Yeah.
Oregon. I think I cried not because COVID hit, but because the tournament wasn't going to happen and I wasn't going to get to see Oregon win the national championship with Sabrina in her senior year. There's so many videos out there, but I would still put her at six right now, and that is totally reasonable. Um, your top three are gonna be Fee, Asia, and Stewie. I love Caitlin Clark in that mix. I know she's been hurt. She's definitely in that mix.
Hmm.
And I don't think enough people know about Alyssa Thomas. I don't.
Yeah.
AT's a vet in this league, and she doesn't ever disappoint.
No, for sure, definitely. I fuck with Inescu too. I first started hearing about knowing about her obviously when she was at Oregon, but also too when she was like training with Kobe
Yeah, guys, you don't even know the
at the
backstory
Mamba Academy.
of Tony and Sabrina Eskew, okay? I used to tweet at the Oregon coach all the time. We used to exchange tweets on Twitter because I'd be talking to him. He'd post clips of practice, and I'd be in those comments responding. Like
Hmm.
the Oregon women's basketball, Tony Bianco lore goes deep, okay? Uh, I I did like breakdowns of that team
Yeah, no, for
when I was
sure,
supposed to be
definitely.
reporting on Syracuse because that's where I went to school. I was doing Oregon breakdowns.
Nah, for sure. I mean, you was doing it on the right player. I mean, Inescu is a beast. She's definitely one of my top five players in the league for sure, definitely. But that will be all for us, you guys, on this week's episode of the He Said, She Said Sports Talk Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Big Red. This is Tony. We appreciate you guys. And as always, it is love and peace.